Hello, episode 7, done. We dealt with perception and trading. Now we're going straight into episode 8. Another little jazzy title of signal versus noise. See, most people think trading is about information, more data, more charts, more indicators. But the truth is, most people aren't lacking information. They're drowning in noise and they can't tell the difference. And the crazy part, this is exactly what I learned during remote viewing training, long before I ever looked at a chart. See, when I trained in it back in the 90s, one of the hardest things wasn't entering the state. It wasn't focus 10. It wasn't even the targets. It was this. Learning to separate what was real from what my mind was adding in. Because your mind will always try to fill the gaps. It will guess, interpret, and definitely project. And if you're not careful, you start believing the noise is the signal. And it ain't. Nah, mate. Noise isn't just random. It's familiar. It feels convincing. It sounds like, this looks like, I think it might be. It reminds me of. That's not perception. That's your brain trying to help. But in remote viewing, that's exactly what gets in the way. Because the real signal is much quieter. You see, signal doesn't shout. It doesn't come in as a full picture. It often comes in as fragments, impressions, textures. Also a kind of knowing without explanation. And it's subtle. So subtle that if your mind is busy, it's quite likely that you'll miss it completely. Now fast forward to trading, and this is where it gets interesting, because the exact same thing is happening, just in a different environment, right? The market is full of headlines, opinions, indicators, Twitter noise, emotional reactions. And most of the people are reacting to all of it. They're not trading the market. They're trading the noise around the market. Every time I put that speaker, I forget to put the speaker on, not speaker. You see it all the time, right? Price moves, people panic. News drops, people chase. A candle spikes, people jump in late. Why? Because they're reacting to what's loud, not what's real. The real edge isn't a better indicator, a faster entry, or more information. It's this, that the ability to sit well long enough to see what actually matters is the bit. To let the noise pass and to notice, more importantly, what remains. Because what remains, well, you see, that's usually the signal. Here's a simple way to think about it. Noise is often urgent, emotional, obvious, definitely reactive. The signal, however, is quiet, subtle, repeatable, and calm. And the more you train your awareness, the more obvious that difference becomes. And this is what I actually use now. Not remote viewing in the traditional sense, but the principle behind it. I don't rush, I don't chase, I don't react to everything I see. I watch, I wait. And when something stands out, not because it's loud at all, but because it's consistent, that's when I act. Most people are trying to do more. More trades, more analysis, more input. But the real shift is this: learning to ignore what doesn't matter, because clarity doesn't come from adding more, it comes from removing noise. It's not about predicting the market, it's about seeing it clearly. Episode 8, boom, on to episode 9. Be well, be safe.